have to say, I am recording.
I know when we first started doing radio, it was at Pace. We used to just, as far as college goes, that's where we started at. We would just smoke and talk about artists we loved and shit. And I think that was like the number one thing that made us want to start CDR, Crack Distributors. We just started reaching out to everybody we knew, you know what I mean? Like as far as young, hot, emerging talent. Not people that were necessarily on or being played on the radio, but just like people we thought would be the next hot thing, coming out of it, as far as musically, coming out of the scene in New York.
Yeah. So how did you go about at that time finding this talent?
Going to shows. We had Cudi on like the night his first mixtape dropped. And the first time I saw him live, he was opening like one of the first openers for Wale. And this was like 07, 08. I was like, who is this kid? It was like, okay, you intrigued me. I want to hear some music and stuff like that. And we just got in contact. And we had him up on the show. It was just going to shows and hearing new mixtapes, having friends send us music, and just trying to give light to those hot up and coming artists. I can honestly say I probably had everybody on the show who I've reached out to.
Word up.
There's a lot of artists though that I would love to sit down and have an interview with because they're who I listen to every day. Such as Doom is probably one of my favorites.
Oh God, he's a mysterious ass.
And I know that's probably never gonna happen.
I'm so glad you just said that because that's the one dude I would love to shoot as well.
I would love to just sit down, have a sit down with him. It probably will never happen. And I think that was probably a big thing about starting the show. It wasn't just who's buzzing. It was that, okay, I'm young and I'm trying to get into radio. I'm trying to get into artist consulting. How can I talk to artists that I listen to every day? And I want to hear and talk to these artists who I feel like are really influential, but may not have a voice yet.
What are your feelings on the radio situation currently? I had Susio on and he had some things to say about it.
I feel strongly about radio because I feel like radio is the voice of generation. It can impact so many people. I used to sit up late night and just listen to it. One of the biggest influences for me was underground radio at night, and that was like my influence to get into radio. As far as radio now and today, radio doesn't give a voice to a lot of those artists who are on up and coming and emerging. That's a shame. That's why on our show we play West Coast artists, Southern artists from New York, Midwest. We play everything. There is no playlist to our show. If you have a hot record and you send it to us, we'll probably play it. That's kind of lost as far as DJ wise. So a lot of people aren't exposed to a lot of the hot artists out there.
We were talking about that a little bit, about the challenge of being a resource for musicians to send music to, or in my case, send requests for videos. So there's a challenge now that you probably didn't expect.
With great pleasure comes great responsibility. Now, I started the show because I love music, because we as a team just want to hear what we like. But now it's become more of a job, and it is a job now. I didn't think that would happen either, but now it gets tough, and there's times where I don't want to even have discussions on hip-hop. And I get sent a lot of emails a day because our email addresses are out there. And the responsibility now is great, but I feel like the pleasure of listening to hot new artists outweighs the responsibility. But like my email account, my Gmail is at 99%. And there's only so much music that we as a team can listen to in a day. The responsibility has become a crazy job, and just doing radio now every single day and going online and making sure that we're still a premier website and a premier radio show.
Do you have a certain style of submission that you particularly would like people not to do anymore?
Do not attach songs to your email. That's the worst. It's already at 99%, but then you email me 3 attached records. It's worst. Or hitting me up on Twitter. I know Tony talked about this. Hitting me up on Twitter is the worst, because I'm on Twitter not just for networking. Hitting me up like, yo, check this out, and then flooding and spamming me on Twitter is ridiculous. I will not talk to you.
So you do listen to all the music that comes in?
A majority of it gets listened to. If not by me, then by one of our co-hosts.
All right, so you don't like the song. You gotta reply. What's that look like?
I don't. If the person asks for feedback, I'll reply. But if it's just bad, you just sent it with like a BCC, I probably won't reply to it. If you're looking for real feedback and you hit me up, then I'll just be like, okay, you need to work on this, this, and this. A lot of times the record's bad and they ask for feedback. I'm sorry, I have to be honest and just say it's bad.
So have you had any email disputes based on your feedback?
No, I can say that. I think a lot of artists too, they don't want to burn bridges, and those who do burn bridges as far as press and media goes, it's a small world. I know this person who knows this person. So you make a bad impression on one person, usually they're going to tell somebody else. We may not be on the same network or website or do this and that, but it goes around. A lot of artists I'm fortunate to come in contact with are humble.
How much of a factor is humility in your judgment process?
Being humble is important with everything. When we started this, contacting artists, our emails started out, they used to be extremely humble and gracious to whoever we were asking for the interview, because you can't just be abrasive and say, okay, you have to do this because I'm this person. The correct way to approach somebody is, excuse me, take some time out to listen to your music in a day. An artist being humble is like the ultimate. It shows whoever's listening to the music that this person is serious, they don't want to burn bridges, and they're not thinking that there's something that they're not. Which, when you come into the show and you still have that aura around you that you think you're bigger than life, then maybe you spit a whack freestyle or people reply to that. You have to be humble if you want to get a chance for anything. I'm still humble myself because I'm gracious to even get any kind of love that I do get with all my hard work. I'm still happy when I get some kind of love from people who appreciate what we do.
How you feeling? Yerp.